From the east, house of light, may wisdom dawn in us, so we may see all things in clarity. From the north, house of night, may wisdom ripen in us, so we may know all from within. From the west, house of transformation, may wisdom be transformed into right action, so we may do what must be done. From the south, house of the eternal sun, may right action reap the harvest, so we may enjoy the fruits of planetary being. From above, house of heaven, where star people and ancestors gather, may their blessings come to us now. From below, house of earth, may the heartbeat of her crystal core bless us with harmonies to end all war. From the center, galactic source, which is everywhere at once, may everything be known as the light of mutual love. Ayum Hunabku, Eva Maya E Maho. Ayum Hunabku, Eva Maya E Maho. Ayum Hunabku, Eva Maya E Maho. The Galactic Federation comes in peace. Yesterday evening, our friend from Italy was driving down the mountain to Portland, and David Jester, and they spotted these beautiful clouds over Mount Hood. So maybe some of you saw these with your eyes. And in the way of this wonderful technological age, we have instant feedback. Look at this beautiful photo already done. So as I said, the Galactic Federation comes in peace. The signs are very subtle, but they're there. Good morning and welcome to the 6th day of our 7-day intensive. This 6th day happens to be Kin 12, Yellow Crystal Human. And all of this week, as you have seen, we've had in the first 13 days of any galactic spin, there's a convergence of the numbers. So this Kin 12 is code number 12, and it's tone 12. So it's a beautiful 12 day. Yellow crystal human. I dedicate in order to influence. Universalizing wisdom, I seal the process of free will with the crystal tone of cooperation. I am guided by the power of flowering. As plants flower, so humans art. So let us be artful today. Then in the prophecy book, this day for the yellow human, we have a special reading, Time's Special Witness. People of the dawn, people of the book, children of the day of truth, many messengers have been sent to you. Many messengers have been given to you. A book of enlightenment has been placed in the earth for all to read in communion with the earth. A book of dark prophecies has been left for you. A prophecy of 13 heavens and 9 hells to accompany the book of dark prophecies has also been left for you. A great prophet and messenger has left you clear signs to understand, and a book of unassailable righteousness, the Holy Quran. As the special witness of time, I have left for you my talking stone Telektonon, breath of precious Bolon Ik, and have sent you both a prophet, Quetzalcoatl of sacred Xochicalco, and for the day of truth, I have also appointed a special messenger who can hear my talking stone and write and explain its numbers and its meanings for you, children of the righteous. Do not doubt any of this. When the moment comes for him who is to be the 11th in succession, to succeed the 11 serpent, then join the believers and begin the prophecy that liberates from all kings and successors. 10 witnesses I place around my tomb, 10 Iranian emissaries, 1 each for each of 10 Baktuns. Of these am I the 11th. Who would be the 11th in the final succession of the kings of Mexico must own me as the 11th. Then all will go well. 6 messengers did I place on my talking stone of prophecy, 3 above, the messengers, Lord Buddha, Muhammad, and Christ, and 3 below, Padmasambhava, Quetzalcoatl, and St. John of Patmos. Of these am I the 7th. Valum Votan am I, Time's special witness, messenger of the Telektonon, instrument of the 7th angel. I declare again and again, all is number, God is a number, God is in all. And if you did your synchronic order this morning, your synchronometry, you did your telecton on board, you would see that we are completely in the biotelepathic circuit, the 28-day circuit, with the core Earth family. So we have the human as the destiny kin, we have its antipode, the wind, we have the analog, the hand, and of course the human and the hand are connected with Earth. So we should take to heart that we've all incarnated and we're all here on planet Earth at this very moment on this 6th day of our program. And then we have as the guide the seed, the flowering, and as the occult, we have the moon, the universal flow. And finally, this is Limi. This is the 27th day of the planetary dog moon. And we have completed the 6th line of our codon 59 dissolving. We've completed the 6th line. So on this Limi day, we always have a sense of completing the codon and then preparing ourselves for tomorrow, when we'll have the complete cubing of the codon, when we'll feel ourselves in the cube with the Limi seal. course, I'm a member of the core earth family. I'm a wind, so I'm bursting with good energy today. And I'm just so happy because I realized in my wardrobe that I had an archival piece. This shirt was what I wore in 1992 when we presented the Dream Spell in San Francisco. Where's Elizabeth Whitney? I know she was there. You are, Elizabeth. Good. She recognized the shirt. I have a witness of this archival situation. Do you know that by the time shift in 1992, all the codes were actually complete? Because the dream spell codes are the basis. But of course, any vision, any new message comes, and it takes time then for the unfolding. So now here we are in the 7th year of prophecy, and we come with such confidence. And I know sometimes maybe it's irritating when you realize there's such a profound truth in the harmony of the codes of the dream spell. So now, after 7 years of the prophecy, the message has penetrated. And it has penetrated with seeds around the globe. And a long time ago, I came up with this phrase, and I'll use it again because I think it's a beautiful phrase. And it's basically what we could call the modus operandi, or the working basis of how we should consider the 13-moon calendar change peace movement. And it goes, ever expanding circles of all inclusiveness. I'm going to say it again. Ever expanding circles of all inclusiveness. That is beyond duality. It says that the message of truth for the human species today on planet Earth is that we are all planetary kin. Every kin holds equal power and place, and every kin has to take personal responsibility and apply self-discipline. So before you consider teaching all of the codes to others, be sure that you have studied and that you understand to the best of your ability. And then the self-love has to be there, because there is so much new knowledge, it takes time to learn it. So try to only teach what you know. Try not to get ahead of yourself and try to teach some advanced something and think that you're so good at it. Try to come back always to the present moment. And again, the synchronic order informs us in a daily process. So every day is a new birth. When the sun comes up, if we express ourselves with appreciation, like all of the indigenous peoples have always done, we'll say, thank you, God, for giving us another day, that the sun has come up. And especially today, on this crystal human day, we have clear blue sky and we have the sun. So I have 3 serious points that I would like to present this morning. And I'm glad that someone just walked in. Good morning, Galactic Skywalker. I hope you danced well last night. I hope the party was beautiful. Ah, good. And here comes Jason Monkey. Good morning. I'm so pleased you're both here. Oh, good. You've been preparing the 7777. Thank you. And I appreciate you, and I honor all the work that all kin do. I am so pleased that you're here. That's great. Thank you, because tomorrow there will be a graduation present from this beautiful 7-day intensive, and that is that each one of you will receive the gift of the newly arrived kits of the 7777. So tomorrow we will have a formal ceremony of the gifting. So today we will be continuing in the afternoon practice of the earth families. And I simply wanted to express why we've chosen the earth families, or why the dream spell points to the earth families as a natural way of governance, of organizing yourselves, because you realize that when there are 5 earth families, and that you are responsible on the day that it's your earth family, as everyone knows who went to the seminary in Picarquín in Chile, you find out that you're fully on for 1 day serving everyone, and then you have 4 days when you're served. And it's an incredible economy of the energy, and it helps to release us from any hierarchy of fixed position. All of the codes of dream spell are moving codes of time. So for instance, today is the core earth family. So for example, let's have all the core core Earth family, just stand up. Okay, see, there's enough of this family that we are the hosts for this day. So everyone, all of you in the core Earth family, please do everything you can today to help others, to make sure everything goes smoothly. And we're going to invite you in the last half hour between 3 and 3:30. Your Earth family will be responsible for a total group meeting here in this room as to conduct the court of the kin. Because that's the basic model, is that on the crystal days, that the Earth family for that day is responsible for calling the court of the kin and for bringing all the kin together to account actions of the past and to think of the future. So maybe you can use that half hour today to be sure that we are networking properly. Ever expanding circles of all-inclusiveness means until every human on the planet has heard this message, our work's not done. Now that may seem overwhelming, but it's not if we work with our Earth families, if we cooperate. Cooperation is a profound source of energy. So my second point, on July 25th, whatever activity you have planned, please call it the day out of time. And in this way, we will synchronize around the planet with all of the other bioregions to create the festival for the culture of peace, the festival of the day out of time. And today happens to be the galactic signature of Hirohide Yunase. And some of you at Pan Portland met him a year and a half ago when we brought him here to see the Galactic Gallery. And Yunase in Japan last year coordinated 100 activities around Japan for the day out of time. And the way he did it was by an invitation to all artists, to all people of all communities, to get together in their communities to celebrate the day out of time. So this is very much the technique that was used at the harmonic, not technique, but just the process that happened at Harmonic Convergence was self-empowered humans reaching out to their brothers and sisters to create a form of festival. And it will be very important that day that wherever you are on the planet, you be there at sunrise with other people. That's the most important key, because at sunrise is the moment of the rising of the Rainbow Bridge. So we'll be continuing to talk about this in the next 2 days, but especially know that on sunrise of the day out of time is a very critical moment around the planet in each of your areas. Then finally, here's my most gnarly little last point, which I have to ask everyone. As always, from 1992 onward, we have always said the dream spell is a gift. It is knowledge for all of the children of the earth. And the only thing that we ask is that on whatever material you put out, that you actually honor copyright Jose and Loidine Arguelles Dream Spell copyright Jose and Loidine Arguelles. 1991, which happens to be a Zavuya number. Here, I'm gonna have fun today because it's my family. A Zavuya number. 19 in this direction, 19 in this direction. Okay, 1991. And 91 is 7 times 13. Okay. Thank you, sir. It's very good. So, fortunately, I'm Bolonik and he's Valum Votan. So there's no ego in this process. That copyright is so people know what the source of the information is. Because there actually were 2 people who spent 2 years in retreat on Maui to really refine all of the codes of the dream spell. And so that information was encoded so that everyone could use it and it could be shared all over the planet. And the secret of the dream spell is that the dream spell codes create a universal language. It's a universal language that talks about wave spells, castles, harmonics, time cells. It's a whole moving form. Your galactic signature is your point of entry. And then, as you know, your galactic signature doesn't stay the same. You have all those positions over your 52-year cycle, so you have all your relations continuously shown to you. So it's an ever-expanding, all-inclusive model, the dream spell. It can only flower and grow. So I'm extremely happy because I know that we have planted the seeds and that now all of the growth is happening around the planet. Finally, not to forget the dynamics of time, let's see what it says today for 12.12. Galactic universal life transport vehicles represent evolving, synthesized, crystalline, floral, projective structures of advanced types of multiple central axes, experiments possible only after AD 2013. I suspect that message says, don't get ahead of yourself. Don't start practicing all that extraplanetary travel until we've cleaned it up down here. I think that's the message. Clean up your room first, clean up your planet first, and then 2013 we will receive the blessings that are ours to receive as the human species, but only when we become a collective. When our microbe, our human microbe, gets it of how to work together as effectively as the ants do, how to fly together as effectively as the birds fly together in their flocks, how to be a joyful, creative human microbe. So that's what we're about here. I think I've done enough on the beginning of this human day. Oh, my sweet husband. He says, you're so beautiful. You flower. You get a lot of the gifts too. It's great. We have so much fun playing together. So I'm going to put the microphone over to the monkey.
It's clear she's the more beautiful, the more radiant. She speaks better. She's got a lot of great qualities. I would absolutely, literally be lost without her. I also would like to thank as many of you as appeared in my dreams last night. I had many. Where's Lawrence? Is he here? Back there? Yeah, Lawrence gave us, what are those little things? Dream catchers or spirit catchers? Yeah, and some dream pillows, and we put it up, and I don't think I've had so many dreams in one night in many, many, many years. And there were lots of wonderful dreams. In one of the dreams, a great many of you decided to come to our house and take a rest. It was so crowded, people were sleeping against the walls. Fortunately, it was just a short while, and people knew it was polite and had to leave, too. But thank you for coming and sleeping in my house last night. It was quite an experience. We're continuing our process today. It's rather interesting how the energy has been building as we've gone through these 7 days. Today we're talking about time and telepathy, the perceptual order, and this morning's theme, according to the program, is the quantum perception beyond dualism. But I'd like to introduce that whole topic by just extolling the grandeur of the law of time and the synchronic order. As we know, as we figured out at the end of our tumultuous session yesterday, incidentally, I realized I had a great sign of how tired I'm getting when I got spastic at the board. But all that information is, if you look in your, is also in the illustrations to your text at 20.17, which shows a whole sequence showing how the lines change, and you can study that more coherently in your text. But also the information that this is actually, when I said what week is this of the 16 years of the 16-year cube of the law, and this, we are in the 144th week, as we learned, which again I think is a very, very beautiful testament to the synchronic order that not only did we was this event planned to be the conclusion to the 7 years of prophecy, and therefore we have 7 days, 1 day for each year of the 7 years of prophecy. Not only does that go from kin 7 to kin 13, which is also a manifestation of what is referred to in the law of time as the 13-7 constant. That's the main constant, 13 and 7. 13-7 is the mirror of 13 between 1 and 13. 13 plus 7 is 20, which gives you the 1320. So that actually that accounts for the 13-7 constant, which is also the basis of the 4 is to 7 is 7 is to 13. So not only did we have that perfectly coordinated, and so that also this was the first week of the final 13-week cycle of the 7th year of prophecy, but also that this would then be the 144th week of the 16-year cube of the law. That means that tomorrow, when we cube the codon, that we will be cubing the 144. And this is very, very key, because the whole point of the 7777 in the final stage is the 144,000 cubed within. So by fractal analogy, that we will be cubing the power of the 144,000 within this 144th cube that has been created since the beginning of the 16-year cube of the law process. And of course that also, since this is the conclusion to the 7 years of prophecy as far as the teaching of the law of time goes, and of course it's also significant that the first year of prophecy was kin 144, and so we're concluding all of that with week 144 of the 16-year cube of the law. So this is what I refer to as the grandeur of the law of time and of the synchronic order. Today, of course, is the crystal human, which is 12. The human is code 12, the tone is 12, so 12 times 12, there's your 144. And then it's kin 12, which is the cubing of the 144, which is what we'll be doing tomorrow. And 12 times 12 times 12 is 1,728, 1728, which is on the telectronon board. That's the Uranus circuit, from 17 on the far right end of the Uranus circuit to 28 on the other end of the Uranus circuit. So that's also the cubing of 144, and also the navigation tower Earth is 17, and that 17 that also codes specifically the heaven walk from Earth 17 to wind, which is in day 28. Again, so these are very key points when you begin to study and understand the law of time. We had at one point begun to write up this information, the beginning text, the Principia Mathematica of the fourth dimension. I started to write this book just before this text, just before the 20 tablets of the law of time were delivered, and I never had time to finish it. But it's a beginning study, and I think it's important if you want to really get into the numbers and understand the 13-7 constant, the 4 is to 7 is 7 is to 13. In the fourth dimension, number is the language. Number is the language of the fourth dimension. It's culture-free language, and so it's very important to understand how the numbers talk, okay? And that to be aware every day what numbers are actually talking, what are the numbers of the day, and because of the increasing levels of the revelation of the law of time, from the 13-moon calendar, which is the base, to the dream spell, to the telectronon, to the Rinri project, to the 20 tablets of the law of time, to the 7777, which we'll be presenting later on today, to further stuff which we will barely be able to get into, the 24 elder futark, the runes, and how they're coordinated. All of this is all based on the principle of number, and that's because the fourth dimensional mathematics is a radial mathematics. It is a perfection of harmony, and so all the numbers have a relationship to each other. Basically all the numbers are contained within the 019 radio matrix code, and within that code, the numbers have different values and qualities, which actually define fourth dimensional mental structures, fourth dimensional processes. That's why it's so important to tune into the numbers. And that's why, again, when we think about this 144, she said I could erase. See, she was doing her numbers. And again, the 144, since this is the 144th week, again, as I said, when we write that, and it's important that we learn the galactic notation, that's again the 7.4, okay? The 4 is to 7 as the 7 is to the 13. So we see that in all the numbers, and when we learn to translate the numbers also into the galactic notation, then we have further special values that are given to the numbers. Also, I wanted to finish a few things off from yesterday. We were talking about the 20 tablets and how in the 20 tablets we're dealing with fractal time compression. For instance, there's one tablet for every year, and so this year we are dealing with tablet 3, because this is the third year, and you could count then on the backs of the previous tablets the 52 weeks and then the 52 weeks, and then find out that now we've gone through the first 3 quarters, which is another 39 weeks, and now we're in the 40th week, and so the 52 plus 52, 144 plus 40 gives us the 144th week. Also the planetary service wave spell also doubles as the one of the wave spells of the dream spell Genesis. So this year, which is the year White Resonant Wizard, is also the third wave spell of the dream spell Genesis, the hand wave spell, which the hand wave spell, which goes from, let me just get some numbers there, from minus 21,387 to minus 20,087, okay, before the present era. And so that puts us very far back in time, as I said, that we're going through that early phase when we began to dream the dream that we're trying to wake up to remember at this point. We were way back then, and it's very interesting that not only are we completing the 7 years of prophecy, and that's all been harmonically arranged in the synchronic order, but when we see that each of the moons correspond to a kin number, because this is the third year and this is the third wave spell, this moon goes from kin 27, which is magnetic hand, because of the hand wave spell. We are currently in the planetary moon, so that corresponds to kin 36, which is the planetary warrior. And when we end and this is the fractal time compression, okay, that in other words, this is the planetary moon this year of the White Resonant Wizard year, but in the dream spell Genesis, this is the 100-year cycle of the moon of kin 36, which is the planetary warrior moon. And that where we end the final moon this year is, interestingly enough, is kin 39. Kin 39 is the cosmic storm. And again, just as this is the 144th week of the 20 tablets of the 16-year cube of the law, and just as this is a 7-day seminar which recapitulates the 7 years of prophecy, and the 144th week harks back to kin 144, which was the first year of prophecy. So the 39th moon, kin 39 I mean, this moon, cosmic storm, actually completes the time shift which began in the cosmic storm year. In other words, July 26th, 1992 was cosmic storm. That began the time shift. You can read in your dream spell text that this begins the 8-year time shift, and it's been a time shift. And it's interesting that that time shift began with the year kin 39 year, and the very last moon of the time shift is kin 39. Again, you have the fractal. You go from the kin 39 year to the kin 39 moon. So the last day of the time shift, the last moon of the time shift, is the same as the year that began the time shift. So that's also another perfect progression in which we see how the synchronic order completely encompasses and creates an absolutely harmonic order of time, creates a whole zavuya. In other words, we go from the zavuya of the kin 39 year to the complete the zavuya in the kin 39 moon at the end of 8 years. It's an absolute perfection of harmony. And of course, when we began the time shift on July 26, 1992, we didn't know the 20 tablets. We didn't know that when we said the time shift runs for 8 years up until July 25th, 2000. We didn't know that the last moon was going to be the kin 39 cosmic storm moon. So this goes back again to the point of everything has already been written. Okay, the law of time is the pen of God by which the universe is written. The law of time is the pen of God by which the universe is written. All of this has already been inscribed. The time shift was to be complete in 8 years, and in the moon, the same moon as the year of the time shift, kin 39. I was thinking about this, how utterly perfect all of the synchronic order is. This is why we talk about the perfection of the synchronic order. It's an absolute perfection. And I went back and I did have a text which was written, which is called Preparation for the Time Shift, July 26th, 1992. This is what's called a very, very rare text, okay, announcing the arrival of galactic culture and the dream spell return of Time Ship Earth 2013. Timely papers compiled by Blue Spectral Monkey and White Solar Wind on behalf of the Galactic Federation. Platu Barada Nikto, the Galactic Federation comes in peace. And this text, everything that we're saying now, we already said it. We've been saying it again and again and again. All that's happened that's different is that since that moment in time, the law of time has evolved us and has evolved further tools of understanding and knowledge to demonstrate. Don't doubt this. This is the truth. This is a rolling wave. The time shift might not have been noticed by a lot of people on this planet, but the time shift has been absolutely real. Right? That's why we are all gathered here right now, to complete the time shift. The very first statement is actually worth reading, and since Bolo Nick has a much nicer voice than me, and she's much more beautiful than me, and this is her family day, she can read the first page. I will say one thing about this. I surrender, God. Okay. On this first page of text, the second to the last paragraph is in bold face. And when I put this in on the computer, no matter what I did, I could not get the second to the last paragraph out of bold face. And when we get to that paragraph, she'll let you know, because that is the important point. But here, this is the first page of this text, and see if it doesn't sound familiar. Our same old boring 13 moon message.
Before I read, I have to do something in the face of God. I have to ask for forgiveness for times when I've been impatient or angry at people because they weren't living up to the truth. Okay, so I had to say that disclaimer. So please have tolerance. I am an imperfect human who was given a perfect message to deliver. So the message is profoundly true. Klatu barada nikto, fellow humans. We, the bearers of the dream spell, the seed and promise of galactic culture, present the following announcement to you on behalf of the Galactic Federation. Through following your third-dimensional technology so unswervingly, you have placed your collective neck in a noose of overpopulation and pollution so intense your technology can no longer save you. Your only hope is entry into galactic culture. The dream spell is the tool to facilitate hooking you up to the fourth dimension. Being reconnected to the fourth dimension is the only way to enter galactic culture, which is the bright promise slavery to your machines has so long denied you. To accept the template of the 13-moon calendar at the time shift, July 26, 1992, is the only way for you to cut the Gordian knot of materialism and entropy to which you have now doomed yourselves. Only by following the children will you be able to find a way out of the suffocating dead end to which your technology and science have led you. Your third-dimensional way no longer has any heart in it, no longer any spirit, and without spirit and heart as a race, you are dead. Klatu barado nikto. The foundations of galactic culture are built upon the cornerstones of synchronicity and telepathy. These two forces are cemented together with the bonding element of unconditional love, the essence of galactic being known to all animals, children, and humans who grow young rather than old through maintaining a pure and selfless heart. Synchronicity, telepathy, love are the operating basis of the fourth dimension. The Earth's fourth dimensional body is already prepared for galactic culture. The guiding mechanism of a pure heart, operating by synchronicity and telepathy, is the crystal magnetic core of Earth. Everything that grows, appears, moves, and transforms within the Earth's biosphere does so by attunement to the Earth's core. This is the basis of Earth telepathy. An Earth telepath, ET, is any organism operating by Earth telepathy within the unified field of the fourth dimensional Earth. In conscious, intelligent operation, any ET is a UFO, Unified Field Organizer. Earth telepaths are unified field organizers. Unified field organizers are Earth telepaths. UFOs are ETs. ETs are UFOs. There are no aliens, only that which we have yet to become. Bold. Bold, everyone, bold. Fear and clinging to the third dimension is what makes Earth telepathy alien. In order to safeguard the natural wisdom of the children at this time, and to secure the establishment of galactic culture, Dream Spell is offered unconditionally as the universal tool to open the gates of human unfolding into galactic culture, the symbiosis of human, earth, and galactic order. End of the bold. Humans, do not look a gift horse in the mouth. Swallow your pride and the limitations of your third-dimensional materialism and reason. Give unconditionally so that the dream spell may be produced and distributed freely for all the children of the planet, assuring the launching of the Children's Crusade, July 26, 1992. This is not a test or a joke, but the real thing. This is the galactic invasion plan. Where do you stand? Klaatu Barada Nikto. Jose and Lloydine Arguelles for the Galactic Federation, Kin 164, Day 28, Crystal Moon, Gregorian 6.26, 1991.
That day, Kin 164, of course, is Yellow Galactic Seed, which is July 26, 2013 as well. Everything is in the synchronic order. That's the first page of this very rare text, which has lots of interesting pieces in it, including, let's see, we had including notes toward a definition of galactic culture, inner workings of the cosmic Mongolian invasion plan, and where it says acceptance and adoption of the dream spell calendar of the 13 moons is your rite of passage into the new time, the fourth dimensional order of the Galactic Federation. By accepting and adopting this calendar and relinquishing the 12-month calendar of the old world order, you will establish yourselves irrevocably in the fourth dimension and be given new opportunity to deal with your lives and your planet. All is forgiven. You are not alone. The Earth loves you and needs you. The Galactic Federation comes in peace. We also have the Arcturus Fast Forward, the ABCs of Galactic Culture, the declaration, the first declaration of biospheric rights, and among other things, the Dream Spell campaign for the Earth, Elder Brothers' Last Warning, and the Path Beyond Technology, where we talk about the need for the continuing manufacture of the Dream Spell, the global distribution of the Dream Spell through a growing Dream Spell network, which will pay back and support its base, establishment of franchises worldwide for the promotion and distribution of Dream Spell and all related products and designs, a mechanism whereby profits will be used to support focused efforts for the redistribution of global wealth and environmental stabilization, and means for mass communication and follow-up on all particulars of the time shift event, July 13th to 27th, 1992. And there's the Galactic Dream Spell Gift Directive, as well as information on the Project Quetzalcoatl Dream Spell and the Mayan Return, and some poems, including Dream Spell Bridge. Dream Spell, no more global village. Dream Spell, the bridge that takes us from mediarchy to telepathy. McLuhan, 1964, understands the media. No more Kennedy, last great white hope, only Cold War and Vietnam. Acid rock made it real. Nixon Watergate made it a steal. Numbed out 70s, Sesame Street, turned on almost 80s. Yuppies, MTV, the big HC, harmonic convergence. Stock market fake, Gorbachev's take, no more Cold War, just CNN. The Global Village, Newsweek called it. Ted Turner, the world's first mediarch, rule by media, CNN and MTV. Is this McLuhan's dream come true? The world waited to see. What's next? Bush, Saddam, Iraq's the test, CNN, the War Channel, Third World nods, Dream Spell, Third World computer. No electronic technology, no white man mediarchy, but newly returned galactic telepathy. With you, the human computer. Just think of this world without two things, TV and oil. Tesla-Edison feud gave us electromagnetic TV addiction. Rockefeller greed produced oil need. No more oil, no more TV. What will we be? Planetary kin in telepathy. How? Dream Spell, the perfect software for the human computer, shows the way of the high-tech downgrade from TV to radio to crystal receiver, and you are the one in control. Dream spell, the game of fingers and toes. It's the human computer that remembers and knows. Your mind and body are the mainframe. Dream spell is the software. Earth telepathy is the program, and you are the way to go. Dream spell. It all begins with the time shift. July 26th, 1992. There's a cosmic storm coming. That was 1992. When we were doing the time shift on 1992, there were just 3 of us at the Byodo Inn Temple ringing the big temple bell 13 times for the 13th storm. By the end of that year, as I said, we saw that despite the fact that Randy Bruner produced a beautiful little calendar, that the masses were not flocking to this message. And not only that, but the people who had been given the dream spell were out in Mount Shasta selling it. And not only that, but people were taking things and from the dream spell, redoing it and making it their own and giving no credit to where it came from. That's why she made her message, and this has been going on for many years. So we are here today to complete the time shift. That's a very great and rare text. And in completing the time shift, we now realize that through this process, it was meant to be the way it was. The whole meaning of it was that we were to continue to give articulation and form to the law of time. It's really about the law of time. The purpose of the time shift was to reveal the law of time. Following the first year of the time shift, then came Kin 144 and the prophecy. And the prophecy was the first manifestation of the time shift, the prophecy Telektonon. And then from that, we had the Telektonon game and then the Rinri project. And this was, as I said yesterday, the cumulative progression of the manifestation of the law of time. It's all about the law of time. And then from that, we got to the 20 tablets of the law of time, and I'd like to just do a few more things with the 20 tablets before we proceed to the discussion of the next instrument and tool of the law of time, which is the 7777. The 7777 in some ways culminates and recapitulates the entire process. Everything is based on the 13 moon calendar. Everything is based on the 4 by 7. 4 weeks of 7 days, which again is your 4 is to 7. Okay. 4 weeks, 7 days, which gives you 28. As 7 is to 13 times a year. That's the code. 4 is to 7, 4 7-day weeks. And that gives rise to the 7 is to 13 times a year. That's the message. That's the basis. That's the foundation of the dream spell galactic culture. So by the time we get to the 20 tablets, we talked about the fact that you need to have your Earth Wizard's Almanac, which again you have a copy of in your text. I think it's someplace in there. In your text, you have a blank one, which, as we said, there we are. Don't fill it in, make copies of it, okay? Because you need a lot of them. You need 52 of them a year, okay? And then you gather them 13 times at the end of each quarter. And you see that in the, just when we look at these, for today, for the synchronic order, for instance, we know that today is the 27th day of the 10th moon, and that means that it's the second to the last day of the 4th week, okay, of the 10th moon, and that we are in the 7th year of prophecy. So that's the basis. We're just showing how we build up from that, and then you have room. You can keep showing. Yeah, right. You have room to put the rune for the whole 13-week sequence always goes right in that cube right there, okay, which for this 13-week sequence is the dot with the little circle with the square around it, and it's coded. That's the dissolving. That's the rune of the master rune of the dissolving codon, which governs all the 13 phases of the permutations of the dissolving codon, and then you can put the weekly codon goes here, since this is the first week. That codon is the dissolving codon, and then in the next section over on the right, is where you put the information about on the top. It's the dissolving codon, and then every codon has the rune for every codon has an affirmation or statement, and so the rune for the dissolving codon and those affirmations are always found on the back of the chronograph. This is the annual chronograph, and so that you see that on the back here is all the permutations of the dissolving codon, which we were in our own wonderful spastic way presenting to you on the board yesterday. You can find them all right there, and each rune has a whole affirmation that then holds for the whole 13 weeks. So for this 13 weeks, this is the 8th rune set, and the 8th rune set is coded by the affirmation galactic octave sounds mind of space. Okay. You get those ear ringings. You get those earrings like I do, sitting there talking and suddenly ding. And I have to stop saying, okay. Yes, sir. Anything you say. They're tuning me in. You get them in your right ear, and then sometimes you get them in the left ear. When you get them in the right ear, it means like, pay attention to what's happening right now. You get them in the left ear, it says, the Arcturians are sending you a message. Beware. Be alert. So anyway, that's their galactic octave sounds mind of space. Okay, and then beneath that, so in other words, you have the weekly codon title and then the affirmation for that, the Ur-Rune definition or affirmation. Then beneath that, then you can put the information that refers to, again, what's the codon for the week. Again, this week it's the dissolving codon, and this is the first stage of the dissolving codon, okay? When we get to the 22nd day of the 13th moon, we'll be at the 13th stage of the dissolving codon. And then just because this is the 4th week, the weekly power of 7, this is the 4th week, and so this is the week where we are becoming the power of prophecy. So you write that all across in the first line. So this week it says, dissolving, stage 1, become victory of prophecy. Then on the second line you put the moon, what moon it is, and the weekly function. Okay, so this is the planetary dog moon, week 4, power ripens fruit. Okay, so that's on the second line. On the third line, you put the weekly codon title. On that first line, you put the quarter codon and the weekly stage. On the third line, you put the weekly codon title, which this week is the same as the quarter one because it's the first week of the quarter. So on the third line, it says dissolving, and again, galactic octave sounds mind of space. Okay? It's corny, but I can't help myself. Keeps me awake. Maybe it does the same for you. Okay. Then on the line after that, each of the codons consists of a triplet. Okay, a 3-line. And the triplets you can find again on the back of any one of the 16 chronographs that constitute the 16 tablets. And so you can see that the triplets for this week are the heart crystal, which is below, and above is the breath. Okay, so we say, okay, then we have and below is the sensory, and above is the telepathic. Okay, so we have sensory heart crystal below, and we have telepathic breath above. Okay, so those are the rune triplets, and then sensory triplet and the telepathic triplet. So the lower one, so we have sensory for this week. It's sensory heart crystal, and the above the telepathic breath. Okay, so those are the 2 triplets that constitute the codon, and then each codon also then is broken down into the 4 binary letters, okay, which we talked about. Binary letters are time, which is the two yang lines, space, which is the two yin lines, mind, which is a yin below and a yang above, and radiance, which is a yang below and a yin above. That's all in the back there. And so in this case, when you break it down into the three binary letters, the first letter generates, the second letter bridges, and the third letter climaxes. So, so this codon, if you look at it and break it down into the three parts, mind generates, space bridges, time climaxes. And so this way then you can meditate on these codons in this particular way. And this, again, there's no need necessarily, though it's fun if you wish to go follow what it says in the traditional Qing. But the main point here is to realize that we're dealing with a level of definition which is appropriate to the law of time and which also corresponds to the harmonization of the DNA codons, okay? So in this case here we have mind generates, space bridges, time climaxes. So that's how that information works. And then of course this page is coded to the 13 moon days of the week, which always go from the Sunday through the Saturday, and that, as we will see with the 7777, eventually we're going to be eliminating those days of the week, and they'll be replaced by the names of the 7 radial plasmas, much as you have them in their program. So today, the 6th day is Limi. Okay, Friday is Limi Day. So, and then, so where it says, beneath that says the PCU, that refers to the psi chrono units. We have our wonderful psi chrono unit graphic, okay? There we go, fellow Velotropin galactic kindergartners. Just to remind you, the psi chrono unit. And since we are now in the last 3 days of the moon, that means our psi chrono unit is coded by one of the galactic activation portals. And so we look for 1028, which is the last of the days from 1026 to 1028. It's going to be coded by right there, the spectral wizard. Okay, so that's our psi chrono unit for today, for instance. Of course, then when you're in the cube, then the psi chrono units change every day. Okay, but when you're in the heaven walk or the earth walk, then you have 2 psi chrono units that account for 3 days each, for 6 of the days. You'll notice that when you begin the cube, on the last day of the first week, and then you have 2 full weeks in the cube. And when you end the cube on the first day of the last week. So the last day of the first week, you go in the cube, and the first day of the last week is your last day in the cube. So on the first week and the last week, then you have that one psi chrono unit for that one cube day, and then 2 psi chrono units that cover one of the towers and 2 days of either the heaven walk or the earth walk, and then the other tower. Okay, so that's, and then today we know, as we said, it's the 12 human, the 12, 12, 12, 12. And then below, and you can put that, yeah, you see where you put the daily kin, okay? And then beneath that, there's a thing that says SBTS, okay, SBTS. That's the solar biotelepathic strand. That's what that means. I've got it's on here we go, I've got my handy dandy, highly used, I might add, highly used instruction manual. Like I said, I have no greater pleasure than going back and see what it was that was being decoded through my little semiconductor time chip. Say, wow, that came through me. Okay. Faulty little human that I am. I think around page 90 or page 91, page 90 I have an early version, I think it's around page 90 or 91, you have the description of the solar biotelepathic frequency cycle. Okay, and what that means is that there are several numbers that you should always keep in mind. For instance, I've said before, 73 is the number of the biomass constant. 23 is the number of the solar biotelepathic constant. That's because the 23 is a fractal of the approximately 23 years of an entire sunspot cycle. So every 23 days you have a fractal of that. And so you have actually 16 times a year, okay, that we are going through, that we run through 16 solar biotelepathic strands per year. Every quarter, the first 3 weeks of the quarter, are the first 3 strands of the quarter, excuse me. The first 3 strands of the quarter always go strand 1.1 to 1.23, 2.1 to 2.23, 3.1 to 3.23. When you get to the last strand of every quarter, the 4th, the 8th, the 12th, and the 16th, those are only 22. Okay? And that's so right now. And then at that point there, when you complete, like when it's solar biotelepathic strand 22, or solar 4.22 or 8.22 or 12.22, as it was a week ago tomorrow, or 16.22, right here. Well, you can see it there. How it goes. That on that one there, instead of the 23rd day, there is no 23rd day for the 4th strand, but it's at that point on the 22nd day of the 4th, the 8th, the 12th, or the 16th strands that you complete your star bundle for that quarter. Okay, so there's each quarter you've got 13 of these sheets that constitutes one star bundle. If you look up again on your chronograph at the upper right hand corner, it shows you the 4 runes that code that year, so you can't get lost. And so you have 13 sheets for this star that constitutes star bundle for this rune, 13 sheets that constitute the star bundle for this rune, 13 sheets for this one, and 13 sheets for this one here. We are learning how to be chrononauts. Okay? This is the process of learning how to be a chrononaut. The chrononauts is the engineering school of the earth wizards. Now you just do it every day. And it's the way that this stuff imprints. And then as you do that, you always have to pay attention to the numbers. So when you look at the solar biotelepathic frequency cycle, we see that we're in the 4th quarter, we're in the first week of the 4th quarter, therefore we have begun solar biotelepathic strand 13. So everyone here could make a copy of what you got there, and you could do a makeup course for this week, catch up and put it all in for this week, so that you're, for instance, on the first day of the week, when it was 7 hand, it was SBTS 13.1. That's again the 713 constant that the synchronic order put into our hands. So today we've advanced to the 6th day of this strand, so it is 13.6 right there. Okay, 13, and then you can always play with the numbers. 13 and 6 are 19. This is all about 19. 019 code, and things like that. Tomorrow then will be 13.7. Okay.
Just so I see some puzzled faces, just remember it today in your Earth family. This is much better done when you all have that in front of you and you can look down at where to put the solar biotelepathic strand across the paper. And just make sure that before you leave here, you know exactly where you are for the day tomorrow, and then you just keep going day by day by day, and then you don't get lost.
Yeah, it's just a matter of following the bouncing ball. Except for now we have maybe about 4 balls or 5 balls or 6 balls or 7 balls bouncing at once. So then you are just juggling in time. That's why we said chrononautics is the engineering school of the Earth Wizard. Every Earth Wizard has to get involved in the chrononautics. That's the only way that that we are actually going to experience a re-imprinting of the mind, a reorientation of the mind. Okay, this is definitely much easier for the younger you are. The older you are, the more fossilized stuff you have in your cerebral cage. All those conditioned programming and those little things that say, I got a block against this stuff. Yeah. So, nah, not true. Okay? Nah. Okay? So, then on the next space down, then this is where you put the codon, okay, and line by line, okay. So the first day of the week you always have just the first line of the codon. The second day you have the first two lines. The third day, the first three. The fourth day, the four. The fifth day, the five, and the sixth day you always complete the codon, okay. And then down below, you'll notice it says mind, will, spirit, mind. That's because in the absolute heptagon of mind cube, mind, the plane of mind, is the bottom and the top. Okay, your first line of your codon is always on the bottom of the cube. The last line of your codon is always on the top of the cube. Okay, that's why mind and mind. Will refers to the plane of will is the two sides of the cube. Okay, so then the next two lines, the first line's on the right side, and the second line's on the right side, and the third line's on the left side. And so then you've established the plane of will on the cube. And then the fourth and the fifth lines are the back and the front, and that corresponds to the plane of spirit. So that's why it says that down there in that order. Mind, will, spirit, mind. That's the building of the codon cube. As we'll see, the building of the radion cube is slightly different, okay? But we're still dealing with the cube. So, and then as we'll see then tomorrow when we'll get to the point of the cube, and in the cube we'll put the same rune that you always have up here for the 13 weeks. You always put in that little cube that's down here. The same rune that's up here, you always put in the little cube down there when we get to the seventh day, and that's what we be radiating mañana, okay? Okay? Now, down below, you have another space. Yeah, you can also put the days of the moon in next to where it says mind, will, spirit, mind. You can put the days of the moon next to the first mind. That was the 22nd day, 10:22 or 22:10, however you write it. And the warrior position in the cube. So the way I do that is I go 10, 22, and then 16 because it's the 16th day of the cube. 10th moon, 22nd day, 16th position in the cube. Then after that, then 10:23, 10:24, so up to the point where we are today, planetary 27, 10:27, or if you're South American or whatever, 27:10. Okay, however you do that. That's where you put your moon, the moon date in. So this is a way of coordinating all this. Otherwise, some people really go crazy. Okay, that's just too much to deal with, too much to handle. But it's all actually very, very simple because it's all absolutely harmonic order. And this is actually the way you stay on top of the synchronicity. This is how you discover the levels of synchronicity, which are organized by the numbers, organized by the relationships of the code kin to the psi chrono units that are organized by the relationship of the number of the codon, or all sorts of different levels. Then,
well, I was just going to pull back again for a second just to hear again, we're being ordered by time. So the synchronic order becomes our governing principle. So as opposed to waking up in the morning and reading the newspaper or watching television, no, you go to the new time and you coordinate yourself according to time. So time becomes your principle of governance. And the time is the hierarchy. because the day is what informs you. Rather than your ego whimsically trying to figure out what to do, you surrender to the time you are living in. So that's how you release from ego.
It is amazing how that process will work. Sometimes if you get up and you've got a lot of stuff to do and you don't have time to do that, and then you find, oh wait, I got to get back and do that. And then when you get back to this and do it, then suddenly it's very, very peaceful. You say, oh, okay, I understand why this is happening. I'm coordinated. Everything's cool. I feel a lot better. All that kind of stuff. Down, you have two empty spaces that we haven't accounted for. The first is the empty space down below, okay? Now, in the presentation of the 20 tablets, there are two arrangements of the codons, okay? The one arrangement, which is on the back, there's one section that's called the Universal Book, the 64 runes and codon keys, to the 20 tablets there, a book of universal life. And then on the back of that is where you have the two arrangements of the codons, okay? The arrangement on the left is the arrangement of the codons in the cube. For instance, we're in the third position in the cube, that's this year, okay? And so you see again, and the way it's read is it goes from the first one up here, from number, where were we at 11, and then number 3, number 11, and then number 51, and then number 59, okay? And we're in 59. That's where we are. This is the fourth quarter of this year, okay? So that's the cube arrangement, and we go around, and then when you go through the cube, every 16, when you're in the cube journey, every 16 days, each day you can take the corresponding tablet and study that, and see exactly where you are in that cube arrangement, okay? And follow the codons in that way. The other arrangement is over here, which is called the later heaven evolutionary sequence. The other half over here is the primal heaven radial sequence, in which all the codons are arranged. They're placed over the radial matrix of the tzolk'in, according to the harmonics. In the tzolk'in, recall, the harmonics are each sequence that goes from red to yellow, red to yellow, red to yellow, red to yellow. And there's 5 sequences per row, okay? So that 5 sequences times 13 is 65. There's 64 codons. That means that this sequence in the center is called has no codon. Okay? Because they're all radially arranged. When you study that, you'll see that if you take the first codon that codes this here is 6 yang lines, and then it's a radial matrix. You pass a line through there, and you go to this one down here, 6 yin lines. Okay? The second one here is 5 yang lines and a yin line. And if you go down here, this second to the last one is 5 yin lines and a yang line. Okay? This is all perfect mathematical order. When you get to the third one, this is where we are. Here's where we are, 12 human. And so then you go and find, this is what's called your biphasic codon. And you can just follow it by whatever your harmonic is in the dream spell. Then you can go find that harmonic on this radial matrix, and you'll find your biphasic codon. In this way, every 260 days, you run through the whole 64 codons, one every 4 days. So this one here, interestingly enough, is called, this is the one that goes 1 yin line and 5 yang lines. So this one over here is 1 yang line and 5 yin lines. Okay? And this one here that we're completing today, is called time penetrating, because we are definitely penetrating time through this process. So that's how so you put the information for that codon right below there. And then you can find further information about that codon when you go to your master index. Okay? the master index, and for instance you say, well, today's biphasic codon is number 44, and so 44, you look and find over here, right here is number 44, and you see that that's in tablet 12. It's all very coded, okay? And so then you can go to tablet 12, and you can look up and see, yep, there's time penetrating. And then you can get the information of it. It says, principle of dynamic construction empowered by time. That's the rune affirmation for it, okay? Someone in your groups will know how to do this. But it's all, actually, it's just, the thing about this is, believe me, it is just so simple and logical. It's just crusty brains. and bad self-imposed self-images that keep you from being simple and logical. It's just absolutely, it's just like following very, very logical process, okay? There's no mumbo jumbo, no, this is all complete, because everything is ordered by the law of time. The law of time is ordained by God. Everything is in exact and precise measure. Everything is in the synchronic order. This is new knowledge, so just accept that it's new knowledge, and it's just, and it has its complete logic to it. There's nothing that isn't a part of a logical step or a logical process that is involved in all of this. Okay, so I just wanted to one final thing. Then we'll go to this side here, and this here is where you can put all of your accessory information. Okay, now the most important accessory information is what is our annual chronograph. Our annual chronograph is chronograph 3, which is like one of these Irma Bombeck cooking shows. There we go. Now my kitchen's exploding now. My law of time apron is splattered with codons and harmonics. Wiping, kin off my face and so we can say, okay, our annual chronograph, okay, that's the annual chronograph is 3. That's the chronograph 3. It's the night abundance chronograph. There are 7 seers. For the first 7 years, there was 1 seer for each year. The first year was Buddha. The second year was Christ. This year's seer is Muhammad. Next year it's Valum Votan. The year after that, Quetzalcoatl. Then St. John of Patmos, and then finally Padmasambhava. That's all in your text, okay? But so we always say, okay, it's the annual chronograph 3, night abundance, Muhammad, and then which chronograph moon are we on? We're in moon Kin 36, which is the planetary warrior moon. You can see right there, and that we're in the Dragon Genesis, and that corresponds. You can figure out what that corresponds to. Each moon is a year, and your coding for where you are in time is over here. So this moon, for instance, places us at minus 20,277 to minus 20,177 in the dream spell. That's about 24,000 years ago. Okay, as I said, we're just at that point. I just found my cave. I got my clan with me, and we're lying down with the fire in the center of our heads. Okay. Covering ourselves with mastodon furs and painting symbols on the walls. Okay, so and then we also put our 777 information in also at this point. Okay, and we'll be covering that 777 as we go on through this day. In the 7777, of course, it's also week 4, and we're in the inner heptagon of mind, and so on and so forth, which gets me to closer to today's topic. Okay, the 7777. Okay, So again, that's all. That's how you use this sheet. It's very useful. Use that sheet. Okay, as I said, it's just you can find all those components there. You know what if you can find the information on the solar biotelepathic strand and the codons. It's all in the 20 tablets. Okay, and so it's easy to keep one of these, and you can find, if you don't know it, I'm sure someone around here in your Earth family knows it, and will be able to give you a helping hand. Okay, so it was because the whole program of the 20 tablets was began, as I said, 144 weeks ago, which takes us back to July 26th of 1997, which was the yellow overtone seed year, kin 44. Interestingly enough, our biphasic codon is codon 44, and the whole process began back on kin 44 of the yellow overtone seed year on July 26th, 1997. Then we had talked about the issue of when the revolution of time began, and it was precisely at the point of the resonant moon 15 of the first year sequence. If you look on your tablet 1, okay, if you look at tablet 1, and you see the first quarter, the second quarter, and then the third quarter. Okay, and the third quarter is revolution, codon 49, revolution of time. And it was at the end of the very first week of that quarter that I was studying the tablets, because the end of the first week of that quarter was the 21st day. The 21st day of the resonant moon. Okay, the first week goes from 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. The last day of every week in the 13 moons is always a multiple of 7. End of the first week, 7th day. End of the second, the 14th. End of the third, the 21st. So I was very struck by the fact that we're completing codon 49, which is 7 squared, and that it was the resonant moon, and that in terms of where we were in the chronograph, we were in the resonant moon kin 7. Okay, that we're in the resonant moon kin 7, and that a lot of 7s were going through my head. Okay, and then I was studying the tablet for that day. The tablet for the 21st day of every moon, which is the 15th day in the cube, okay, is tablet 15. And I was looking at tablet 15, and I was preparing for the next day, which would be tablet 16, the last day in the cube. And as I was looking at tablet 15, I noticed something, that in the chronograph, the last 2 moons of tablet 15, and tablet 15 corresponds to the year 2011, 2012 on the chronograph, and I saw that the last 2 moons, the crystal moon and the cosmic moon, were kin 194 and kin 195, and then I looked, of course, on tablet 16 and saw that, of course, the first 5 moons were kin 196 up through kin 200. And I said, well, now those are the kin numbers, and this is fractal time compression time, okay, kids? Okay, I noticed those kin numbers, well, that was the 7 lost generations, kin 194 through kin 200, okay? For instance, this year's lost generation is kin 200. I said, wow. Because I said, well, when does the ending of the Baktun occur? The end of the Baktun occurs during the rhythmic moon of the tablet 16, kin 201, which is red rhythmic dragon. And I said, well, it occurs on the 9th day of the rhythmic moon. And so I said, well, the 7 last moons of the 13 Baktuns are the same as the 7 lost generations are the same as the 7 generations and the 7 last Katuns of the Mayan Great Era. I said, well, now that's really uncanny. that Pakal Votan could have figured that out. Because again, when we called the time shift, we didn't know that the last moon of the 8th year of the time shift was going to be the same kin as the year of the time shift, kin 39. When the Telektonon Book of 7 Generations was revealed, I knew that the 7 Katuns following the dedication of the tomb were the same as the 7 lost generations, but I didn't have a clue that the 7 last moons of the 13 Baktun cycle were also the same kin. Okay, here's what we mean. On the 13 Baktun cycle, which is the same as the Tzolk'in, okay, we're dealing with the fractal order of synchronic time. This is the 10th Baktun. And this point right here corresponds to the dedication date of the tomb of Pakal Votan, which is 9.13. That's because the first kin always is 0. Okay. So although the 12 wizard is code 14 on the Katun count, it's 9.13. That means 13 Katuns have been completed, and you're beginning the 14th Katun. So that's why that's 9.13. Okay. So the 7 last Katuns this is from 692 to 830. When this Katun down here is completed, close to 140 years have elapsed. Okay, so that then when the Telektonon prophecy came, it said that these very same kin right here, that each of these is the lost generation, encodes 1 each of the years of the 7 years of prophecy. The first year of prophecy, kin 144, the lost generation was the crystal wizard. The second year of prophecy, the red lunar moon, the lost generation for that year was the blue cosmic eagle. The third year, the white electric wizard, the lost generation was the yellow magnetic warrior. Fourth year, the blue self-existing storm. The lost generation was the red lunar earth. The fifth year, which was the overtone seed year, the lost generation was the white electric mirror. The sixth year, which was the red rhythmic moon year, the lost generation was the blue self-existing storm. And the seventh year, the year that we are in, is the yellow overtone seed, and that course, is the white resonant wizard year, and the lost generation is the yellow overtone sun. Okay, so that's the 7, and those are also Katuns. So, in other words, like this year, the yellow overtone sun collapses a whole Katun. Okay, and as one of the lost generations. So, in terms of the chronograph of the 20 tablets, there's 208 moons. Okay, we're in the 144th week. But we've had 26 and 10. This is the 36th moon. That's why it's kin 36 on the chronograph. But there's 208 moons in all, okay? And so when we get to the year 2012, the crystal moon of 2012 is the white crystal wizard moon. The cosmic moon of 2012 is the blue cosmic eagle moon. The magnetic moon of the year 2012, 2013, the 16th year, is the magnetic warrior moon, on up to the overtone moon being the overtone sun moon. So the coding, the fractal time compression coding of the 7 last Katuns of the Mayan Great Cycle, the 7 lost generations of the 7 years of prophecy, and the 7 last moons of the entire 13 Baktun cycle are exactly the same. So that's fractal time compression. From that moment was the birth of the 7777, when I saw how tightly ordered the synchronic arrangement of time was, that would have put things that absolutely tight. The 2012, the closeout, the winter solstice, occurs up there in the rhythmic dragon moon on the 9th day of the rhythmic dragon moon. So from there. Again, it was one of those types of bolt of lightning moments.
I see everybody's brains really, really reaching to get all the words as they're spoken. But remember, when you hear the words in the linear sequence, you don't always get the aha that you will receive when you receive the 7777 kit. You will be able to spend your time and contemplate this. So what you're hearing is the process by which this 7777 came to life and into being. So we always have to relax our mind, because in time compression, we have to deal with different fractal levels of time. It's not a linear process. So we can't use our linear mind to grasp it. We actually have to relax back into the present moment, and then we hear again what is being said.
So, what is being said is that the kin 194 to 200, those kin, because a kin can be a day, a year, a moon, a katun, okay, 100 years, and even more, any kin. Kin 194 to kin 200 are the code behind what's referred to in the prophecy cycle of Chilam Balam as the book of 7 generations. This kin 194 to 200 code the last 7 katuns of the Mayan great cycle, the 10th Baktun. This 7 katuns began in the year 692, 9.13.0.0.0 on the long count, and were completed in 830 AD, 10.0.0.0.0 on the long count. Those 7 katuns were the final flowering of the Mayan great cycle and of the placing of the Mayan time science in its code form in the different cities of the Mayan civilization, and also placing it in hidden forms of text which we referred to as the terma, the hidden teachings. Those same kin 194 to kin 200, code the 7 lost generations. Do you have those 7 cards? Okay? When you look at your cards, the 7 cards, when you look at the back of them, starting with the first one, the first lost generation is kin 194. The second lost generation is kin 195. The third lost generation is kin 196. Up to the present year, the 7th year, the lost generation is kin 200. The kin numbers of the 7 lost generations are exactly the same as the kin numbers of the 7 last katuns of the Mayan great cycle when you look at the tzolk'in as being the same as our famous map of history. Okay, you'll find those kin. These 7 last katuns right here are coded by those kin numbers. Okay, then according to the 20 tablets, which begins the cycle at July 26, 1997, and completes it in 2013 through July 25th, 2013, that in that process, in that last year, the 16th year, in the 6th moon of the 16th year, occurs the closing of the great cycle. The last katun ends on the 6th moon of the 16th year of the 16-year cube of the law. The 7 last moons preceding that moon, where the winter solstice occurs on the 9th day of the 6th moon of the last year, right there. The last 7 last moons that precede that are precisely the same kin, coded by the same kin numbers in the 20 tablets. Kin 194 is the crystal moon of the 15th year. Kin 195 is the cosmic moon of the 15th year. Kin 196 is the magnetic moon of the 16th year. Kin 197 is the lunar moon of the 16th year. Kin 198 is the electric moon of the 16th year. Kin 199 is the self-existing moon of the 16th year. Kin 200 is the overtone moon of the 16th year. 9 days later, this whole cycle ends. Okay, so that was the discovery that led to the 7777. That those kin were specially coded to conclude the Katuns, to code the 7 years of prophecy, and to code the very, very last moons that end this whole cycle that began in 3113 BC. That's a prophetic discovery. And so it's from that discovery that then the 7777 came about. Because also I knew from the 7 years that each of these years was coded by one each of the radial plasmas. The first year was coded by the Dali plasma. Okay, and the second year was coded by the Celi plasma. The third year was coded by the Gamma plasma. The fourth year was coded by the Kali, blue Kali. Yeah, right there. The fourth year was coded by the Kali plasma. The fifth year was coded by the Alpha plasma. The sixth year was coded by the Limi plasma. And the seventh year is coded by the Celioplasma. I knew that each of these plasmas constitute one heptagonon of mind, and it's very clear that the 7 years of prophecy that we were constructing through the release of these plasmas from the center of the earth, that we're constructing what's referred to as the heptagonon of mind of heaven. The 6 plasmas arranged with the 7th celio in the center, okay, which is the 6 sides of the cube with the 7th point in the center. So that I saw, then I saw that each of the 4 weeks of the 28-day calendar then are actually, each of those days is coded by the radioplasmas, the 7 plasmas. So instead of Sunday, it's Dali. Instead of Sunday the 1st, or Sunday the 8th, or Sunday the 15th, or Sunday the 22nd, it's Dali 1, Dali 8, Dali 15, or Dali 22, or the 6th day of the week, it's Limi. Today's the 6th day, so you have Limi 6, Limi 13, Limi 20, 1320, and then Limi 27, which is the last Limi day of the moon. So, and that meant that each of the 7 weeks then actually constitutes a heptagonon of mind. And the first week constitutes what's called the matrix heptagonon of mind, and each day of that week constitutes one Katun, fractal time compression. The second week each constitutes the heptagonon of mind of heaven, and that each day that week constitutes 1 year. Okay, because that's the 7 years of prophecy from 1993 to 2000. The first week is the 7 Katuns that go from 9.13 to 10.0, and so each day that week is one Katun. The first Katun is Dali 1, the second Katun is Celi 2, until you get done. That creates the matrix heptagonon of mind. The second week is the heptagonon of mind of heaven. The third week corresponds to the 7 years of the mystery of the stone that occur between 2004 and 2011. And that is the heptagonon of mind of earth. So we have matrix heptagonon, the heptagonon of mind of heaven, the heptagonon of mind of earth, and then the fourth week where we are this week, that is the inner heptagonon of mind, the 144,000 cubed within. So that means that every week now, that every day of the week that we release the radial plasmas, every week we create one heptagonon of mind, which constitutes the 7 radial plasmas in their primary structure, and we do this 4 times every moon. And this is the basic process of the 7777. But when we'll get to this afternoon with the board. Okay, it's all coming. Okay, hang in there. The point here was that when the 7777 came, it was the beginning of the revolution in time. It happened it began to come through when the codon for Revolution 49 occurred, and when we held the World Congress on the Law of Time and the Judgment Day Tribunal in Tokyo, we announced that this was the coming of what's called the inevitable mind shift. And the 7777, coded by the 4 heptagonons of mind, in synchronization with the 20 tablets of the Law of Time, is the inevitable event of the mind shift as it begins to occur. And so this also then was very key and integral part of the completion of the process of the time shift. The time is shifting, the times, they are changing. That if there is going to be a change in time, you have to change the calendar. And we've seen, because we changed the calendar, because we followed the calendar that we changed, that we were given gifts, one gift after another. And these are gifts of knowledge. The gift of the dream spell is a gift of knowledge. The gift of the Telektonon game and prophecy is a gift of knowledge. The gift of the Rinri project and how to open the Psi Bank and activate the Rainbow Bridge is a gift of knowledge. The gift of the 260 postulates of time, which describe the dynamics of time and how we will actually begin to construct vehicles of time travel, is a gift of knowledge. The 20 tablets of the Law of Time, which are for the harmonization and the correction of the DNA in its entirety through all of its 832 permutations over a sequence of 832 weeks perfectly, is a gift of knowledge. The 7777, which shows how we actually can reconstitute our reality, our perceptions at a quantum level, is a gift of knowledge. These are the gifts of knowledge which make real the possibility of the second creation, the new heaven and the new earth. It says that in the end time, at the judgment day, at the end of time, that then that everything will disappear, and then there will be a new heaven and a new earth, and this is the second creation. And in the second creation, that we will participate in the divine laws, so that we will become like gods, because we are given the gifts of creation. The gifts of creation are not tools of imperfect measurement. Those are the gifts of destruction and entropy. The gifts of creation are the function of tools of perfection and harmony and synchronization. Everything God does is in precise and exact measure. God didn't use a Gregorian calendar to create the universe. And he didn't use a clock to figure out when the Big Bang would begin and when it would end. The only instrument is the law of time. As I said, the law of time is the pen God uses to write the universe. The universe is the script of God that is written with the pen that is the law of time. The 13 timing frequency holds everything together in synchronic order. These are all gifts of knowledge. And with these gifts of knowledge, it's all new information. Of course, you never heard of heptagonon of mind. If you had, this wouldn't be new. course you never heard of the Telectanon. If you had, it wouldn't be new. Of course you never heard of the 20 tablets of the law of time, or fractal time compression, because this is new knowledge. It is of the law of time. We're giving this program so that those of you who know about this and those of you who don't know about this will understand that this is all a function of the law of time, that every aspect and every level that we are dealing with is a further ramification of the law of time. The law of time is the revelation of the new knowledge and the wisdom that allows us to construct the new heaven and the new earth. And the new heaven and the new earth can only come about through absolutely new knowledge that is a perfection of harmony, synchronic order, mathematics that are radially, fractally perfect. No imperfection will you see. Look in the creation. You really see no imperfection in the heavens. You really see no imperfection in the trees. You see no imperfection. That's because it is all a perfection. Only the mind of the human, deviating from the law of time with instruments of imperfection, has created a world of imperfection, has created a flat universe, an upside-down world, where while we are up here today trying to, and for the last 5 days and through tomorrow for 7 days, trying to at least immerse ourselves a little bit in this new knowledge, we have to remember how the other world is still going, where peace is war, the art of war. This is what's glorified. Honoring Oregon top sales associates. Millions of dollars of sales make you a better person. This is 1260. This is not creating a perfect world. It's glorifying the world of war. It's glorifying everything that is not sacred. Selling of land and making of money from the selling of land is not sacred. It is glorified in the 1260 world because this is the upside down world. The values are topsy-turvy, helter-skelter. So we are saying this because we want you to be patient in the face of new knowledge and truly understand that it is an entire whole system. Don't take a little part for your fingernails and leave the rest. Understand the whole order. The law of time as a whole system ordering principle. And so this is new knowledge, and it is the knowledge that is come at this very precise time so that we can recreate the world, to make science as sacred as the reality it investigates is the purpose of the law of time. And to realize the formulation of the law of time, energy factored by time equals art. The purpose of science is to serve art, and the purpose of art is to illuminate science. And this it can only do by being completely at one with spirit. We will continue this afternoon, have a good Earth family meetings, and at 3 o'clock from your Earth families come here. The core family will convene the last half hour, okay? And then we'll see you again at 4. Okay, thank you very much.